evening, everybody, and welcome to the Whitemarsh Board of Supervisors meeting. I'd like to call our meeting to order. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, it's good to see the room so crowded. I always get nervous with all the cops in the room. Anyway, I would be remiss if I didn't start tonight's meeting without talking about the events of the morning of July 17th. That morning I got up early and I heard a lot of sirens and a lot of commotion outside, and I knew immediately something bad was going down. And then my phone rang and it was Rick Meller. Whenever the township manager calls a supervisor at 6 a.m., you know it's nothing good. And that's when I found out about the train derailment. And immediately I was filled with tremendous fear about what do we do. And Rick just said, just sit tight, we'll get back to you. And I talked with my fellow supervisors and they all felt the same way, like what do? We just had to sit tight. But the great thing is our local emergency services were on the scene. From our police, the Barron Hill Fire Department, Spring Mill Fire Department, Whitemarsh Ambulance, our fire marshal. Everybody was there taking on the scene along with our county, federal, and state partners. And thank God that day turned out the way it did. No loss of life, no environmental impacts. But what I took away was the amount of pride I have in our emergency service corps. They're there when no one else can be there. Our volunteer fire departments show up at times when we are just stuck in bed and God forbid we have to jump out and run into a burning building or even worse. So thank all of you for all you've done. And it's my pleasure now to turn it over to Chief Ward to announce the police promotions.
Thank you, Mr. McCusker. I apologize to everybody for I have to look forward so that I'm on camera. I hate to have my back to all of you. We're here this evening to recognize the promotion of a lieutenant, a sergeant, and a corporal in the Whitemarsh Township Police Department. On February 24th, 2023, the retirement of Lieutenant Jeff Novak created an opening for a lieutenant in our agency. On April 17th of 2023, the promotional process for the lieutenant's position was started. 4 sergeants submitted letters of interest to participate in the competitive promotional process. On June 27th, 2023, all 4 candidates participated in a testing process and oral interview. During the week of July 11th, the 4 candidates participated in a second interview conducted by the township manager. Since the successful candidate comes from the rank of sergeant, an opening was created for a sergeant to be promoted. Since the top candidate for the position of sergeant comes from the rank of corporal, this also created an opening to promote a corporal. The promotion for the position of sergeant and corporal were determined from the sergeant and corporal promotional process, which occurred in 2022. 14 members of our agency participated in the promotional process. The names of the candidates for promotion were presented and approved by the Board of Supervisors and the Township Manager. I would like to thank the Board and the Township Manager for giving us this opportunity to recognize these officers this evening. It is my pleasure to introduce the 3 officers who are being promoted this evening, starting with the first female to hold the rank of lieutenant in the Whitemarsh Township Police Department, Lieutenant Amanda Johnson. Amanda Johnson has been a police officer in Whitemarsh Township for 18 years. Amanda began her career in Whitemarsh on this very week in 2005. Amanda was previously a civilian employee with the Lower Gwinnett Police Department. During her career, Amanda has earned multiple unit citations, special service citations, and life-saving awards. Amanda has been the department's accreditation manager for the last 6 years. Amanda has led us through our last 2 accreditation cycles, including the cycle that ended in April of this year and resulted in the Whitemarsh Township Police Department being awarded Premier Accreditation status in the state of Pennsylvania. Amanda's hard work makes Whitemarsh Township one of only 27 Premier accredited agencies in the state of Pennsylvania and one of 149 accredited police departments in the state of Pennsylvania. During her time in patrol, Amanda served as a field training officer, helping to teach and guide new officers through early years of their career. This is a skill that Amanda has continued to utilize as she has ridden through the ranks of our department. Amanda was promoted to the rank of corporal in 2012 and was promoted to the rank of sergeant in 2016. Amanda currently serves as the patrol supervisor for A Squad. Amanda was born and raised in Ambler Borough before moving to Collegeville area to raise her family. Amanda is joined tonight by her husband, Jay, and it was supposed to be their 3 sons, JJ, Brandon, and Nolan. Unfortunately, Nolan's under the weather. It should be noted Jay is the captain with the Upper Merion Police Department. Also in attendance were supposed to be Amanda's parents, but Grandmom stayed home with Nolan's, so Grandmom Carolyn's not here, but Amanda's father, James, is with us tonight. Oh, she's with us via FaceTime. I apologize.
Awesome.
Amanda is a graduate of the Wissahickon High School and the Delaware Valley College, where she earned a bachelor's degree in criminal justice administration. While working here at Whitemarsh, Amanda earned her master's degree in criminal justice administration from St. Joseph's University. Amanda has completed Penn State's police supervisory and service training and the Federal Bureau of Investigation Law Enforcement Executive Development Trilogy Program and Internal Affairs Investigation Training. Lieutenant Johnson has been assigned as the Administrative Division Commander, overseeing the Detective Division, the Traffic Safety Unit, and the Communications Division. Draw blood, badge. If we can say, if you come up with the voice.
Chief, can I get one with the board too?
Yeah.
Good. Congrats.
Now, Sergeant Mark Williams. Sergeant Williams is a 19-year veteran of the police department, having served his entire career in the patrol division. Sergeant Williams grew up in nearby Orland and is a graduate of Bishop McDevitt High School. After high school, he attended Westchester University and graduated with a bachelor's degree in criminal justice in 2001. He served with the Montgomery County Sheriff's Department from 2001 until 2004, when he was hired by Whitemarsh Township. Throughout his tenure with our department, Sergeant Williams has served as a field training officer and a taser and de-escalation techniques instructor. He is also a member of the Montgomery County Drug Task Force and is certified in as a crisis negotiator by the FBI. Over the course of his career, he has achieved numerous unit citations, commendations for exceptional service, and life-saving awards. Sergeant Williams was promoted to the rank of corporal in 2016 and has attended numerous supervisory training through Montgomery County, Penn State Justice and Safety Institute, and he has recently completed the FBI LEADA Trilogy of Leadership courses. Sergeant Williams holds a master's degree in organizational leadership from the St. Joseph's University, where he was accepted into the Alpha Epsilon Lambda Honor Society after completing his coursework with a cumulative 4.0 grade point average and displaying excellence in service and leadership to the Graduate Studies program. Currently, Sergeant Williams is a third-year doctoral student in the Department of Public Policy and Administration at Westchester University. Sergeant Williams is also employed by Temple University Police Academy, where he serves as an adjunct instructor specializing in drug laws and drug identification. Sergeant Williams currently resides in Limerick with his wife Tracy, his son Chase, and his daughter Cameron, who are here tonight. He is also accompanied tonight by his parents, Jim and Anna Williams. It should be noted that Mark's father, Jim Williams, is a retired detective from the Springfield Township Police Department. Sergeant Williams. Tracy. Mr. and Mrs. Williams? And last and certainly not least, Corporal Michael Hannon. Corporal Hannon is a 15-year veteran of the Whitemarsh Township Police Department, currently serving in the Patrol Division. Corporal Hannon grew up in the Roxborough section of Philadelphia and is a graduate of Archbishop Kennedy High School that used to be in Conshohocken. Old like me. Corporal Hannon attended Philadelphia College of Textiles and Sciences, where he received his bachelor's degree in accounting. Prior to being hired by Whitemarsh Township, Corporal Hannon served with the Philadelphia Police Department for 11 years from 1997 to 2008. While in Philadelphia, he worked as a plainclothes officer in the 39th District and as a bike patrol officer in the 3rd District, assigned to South Street. Aside from his patrol duties, Corporal Hannon serves Whitemarsh Township as a member of the motorcycle unit and the bicycle unit. He is also assigned to the Montgomery County Major Incident Response Team and the Montgomery County Motor Unit. As a member of the department, Corporal Hannon has received multiple unit citations and commendations for exceptional service. Corporal Hannon currently resides in Worcester Township with his wife Melanie and his sons Chase and Jake. Corporal Hannon is accompanied tonight by his wife Melanie and his son Chase, who will soon be leaving to play junior hockey for the Aberdeen Wings in South Dakota. His son Jake could not be here tonight. He's currently in Montana, attending Montana State University.
Sneak it up on me. Congratulations.
I'll do it after. Do it before the public hearing. All right, congratulations to all the promotions. Well deserved. I think I know everybody pretty much individually. You should be proud of yourselves. And Mike, I have to say this. I've known you for a really long time. We go back a ways, and I just found out about your promotion before the meeting, and it was the best thing I heard this year. And, I couldn't believe it. But it's funny. You worked with my dad in the 39th in Philadelphia, and he always liked you. He said you're a great guy, and well deserved. So it's good to see you, and good to see you too, Mel. So congratulations to all the police promotions. We'll now turn it over to Mr. Miller for Fire Marshal.
Thank you, Chair McCusker. We'd like to welcome up our Fire Marshal Emergency Management Coordinator, Andrew Thomas. Come on up. So Andrew came to Whitemarsh Township by way of Plymouth Township, where he most recently served as a fire inspector and deputy fire marshal. He also worked as a part-time emergency management staff and police dispatcher. The cool thing is Andrew actually worked here in Whitemarsh Township as a part-time police dispatcher from 2016 to 2020. He has volunteered for over almost 20 years serving as a captain with the Plymouth Fire Company and as a firefighter in several other departments. Andrew's been a lifelong public servant, brings a passion for public safety to Whitemarsh, along with great communication skills and a keen eye for details. He's a graduate of Roman Catholic High School and Savannah College of Art and Design. As anything in this position, it didn't take long for Andrew to get tossed kind of into the deep end. As Chair McCusker mentioned, the train derailment really threw a curveball into his day-to-day routines, but those things happen as part of the job. Andrew's a resident of Plymouth Township. He lives with his wife Carly and son Grayson, who I believe are both here. In his spare time, Andrew enjoys being with his family down the shore as well as fishing. So ladies and gentlemen, our Fire Marshal Emergency Management Coordinator, Andrew Thomas. Your family come up and
Good meets you.
One more, buddy. No foul. Hey, come on. Cold job.
Andrew, one at the board too, please.
Very good. Congratulations.
All right, thank you to everybody. Congratulations, Andrew. Welcome aboard. Thank you to all of our emergency services for keeping our family, neighbors, and friends safe. You are all now dismissed unless you want to stay till the end of the meeting when we talk about offense. Up to you. So we'll let you get out of here.
I had copied it into my calendar. So I never go in through that. I never go in through that. I copy it and then I put it in my calendar. I go in. Yeah, I just copied the link
When I
from
click
there,
it, it's
put it in my calendar, and or I guess you could just put it directly on the browser. Yeah, I see it.
that's what's going on.
I thought it's a recurring meeting, so I didn't think it would change. I don't know. You know I'm the last one to be able to figure these things out.
She's done now. Get the door? Good?
Got it.
Okay. Now we'll get to the meat and potatoes of the agenda. I'll turn it over to Supervisor J.C. Toll for the announcements.
That is an incredibly tough act to follow, and some of these are not really exciting. But here we go. Road closures continue throughout Whitemarsh Township. Please be patient while these much-needed improvements are being performed. Eastbound lane of Skipback Pike between Butler and Sheaf Lane will be closed and detoured for 3 weeks, starting Thursday, August 24th through Thursday, September 14th. During the closure, passenger vehicles will be directed to use Butler Pike, Morris Road, Lafayette Avenue, and Route 73, which is Skipback Pike. Westbound lane of Ridge Pike will be limited in late August as the Ridge Pike Improvement Project switches direction on the county's project. A section of Barron Hill Road at Ridge Pike will be closed later this month as part of the Ridge Pike Improvement Project as well. The Township Road Program has begun and will continue through September on 12 Township-owned roadways. Additionally, Aqua continues replacing a water main on Joshua Road between Ridge Pike and Cedar Grove Lane. Lane restrictions are scheduled for 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. through September. On Wednesday, August 16th, at Miles Park, our Movies in the Park series continues with the production of DC League of Super Pets. Streetside Barbecue and Conshohocken Brewing will be available for sale. All movies begin at dusk. This is our final movie of the year. Come out and enjoy the fun. State Representative Mary Jo Daly has scheduled tour hours at the Township Building on the third Wednesday of every month from 10 a.m. to noon for all residents of the Township. School will be back in session soon, so please be alert for school buses, pedestrians, motorists, and bicycles while driving through town. This will be our last meeting before the Labor Day weekend. Please enjoy and be safe while celebrating. And lastly, September 30th will be our tree giveaway. We'll be announcing it again next month, but I want to make sure everybody is aware. You can pre-register on our website, and the species list will be available soon. We're really excited about it.
Thanks, J.C. All right, do I have a motion to open the public hearing for conditional use number 02-23-505A-507, Germantown Pike Associates LLC, 507 Germantown Pike, for a multifamily conversion from office use to 6 apartment dwellings in the VC1 Village Commercial District.
Second.
All in favor, please signify by saying, oh, I'm sorry, turn it over to Mr. Kilkenny, right?
You open.
All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Mr. Kilkenny.
Thank you very much, Chairman Cusker. What I'm going to do is mark a couple of exhibits right now. T1 will be an application with floor plans, site plans, and photographs submitted June 19, 2022. T2, or Township 2, will be the proof of publication in the Times Herald, dated July 26th and August 2nd, 2023. T3 will be the zoning hearing board decision related to this case, ZHB 2023-13, June 7, 2023. which granted a variance. T4 will be the applicant meeting notification email of June 30th, 2023. T5 will be the resident meeting notification letter of July 14th, 2023. T6 will be a posting of notice dated August 2nd, 2023. T7 zoning ordinance compliance review dated June 20th, 2023. And T8 will be the Whitemarsh Township Planning Commission's recommendation minutes of July 11th, 2023, where this was recommended for approval of the application. So tonight, the Board of Supervisors sits in a quasi-judicial status, very akin to what a zoning hearing board does, being this is a conditional use. So the board will go ahead, hear a brief presentation from Ms. Guttenplan, a presentation from the applicant's attorney, any witnesses they want to call. The board can ask questions. The board then can either continue the hearing to a later date if they want more evidence, or they can close the hearing and perhaps take action if they so choose. But one of the things I have to ask, because this is a conditional use, which I mentioned is very akin to the zoning hearing board, is anyone requesting what's called party status? And party status doesn't mean you don't have the ability to comment. Anybody can comment on what they hear tonight, but party status means do you want to call your own witnesses? Do you want to present your own testimony? Do you want to be more actively involved in the case? Just because you don't request party status, what I said is doesn't mean that you can't comment, because everyone will have the ability to comment. So I just want to see, does anybody in the room requesting party status? Okay, for the record, there is none. So I turn it over to Mr. Guttenplan real quickly, and then to the applicant.
Thank you very much. Just very briefly, as you'll hear, this is a proposal to convert 507 Germantown Pike, which is just directly across the street. There is currently one apartment and 5 and office space in the rest of the building. The applicant would like to take the office space and convert it to 5 apartments and leave the existing apartment for a total of 6 apartments when it's all said and done. This is an existing building. The building is not changing on the outside. There are no site improvements. This is part of the Knowles condominium development, so the improvements to parking and the site have already been completed, and this building is part of the homeowners association for the Knowles. This was in front of the Planning Commission on July 11th. A brief presentation was made. Some clarifications about the proposal were made, and then the Planning Commission passed a motion recommending approval of the conditional use. And I would like to turn it over to J.B. Riebstein, if I'm pronouncing it correctly, because I always say it differently, and he will further explain and make a short presentation.
Thanks, Charlie. There's not much more for me to say because he did such a great job. I have these packets. Do you want me to hand them out to you? And
Sure, we'll have them marked as A1 applicants 1.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Got it, thanks.
Hi, my name is J.B. Riebstein. I'm an attorney representing the applicant, 507 Germantown Investors. I have with me as a witness who will be sworn in later, Spencer Yablon, representing the ownership of the property located at 507 Germantown Pike, just across the street. We're seeking a conditional use approval for the conversion of 507 Germantown Pike from an existing mixed-use residential office building to 100% apartments. When converted, the building will have 6 dwelling units. Currently, the building has 1 dwelling unit, and if approved, the applicant will be creating 5 new dwelling units for a total of 6. The building is located in Village Commercial District. Apartments are permitted in the VC1 district as a conditional use under section 116-290B, provided that the applicant meets all of the conditions of approval for all conditional uses noted in section 116-292 of the Whitemarsh Code. Section 116-292D sets forth a maximum density of 8 dwelling units per acre. The building currently sits on less than one acre, less than 1 acre, and therefore the applicant sought a variance from the density requirement of that section to allow for a higher density use. The applicant went to the zoning hearing board on June 7th. Applicant received a zoning variance at that time. Applicant also appeared at the Whitemarsh Planning Commission on July 11th, 2023, and after a brief discussion, the conversion of the building was recommended unanimously by the Planning Commission. Just a few comments on how the applicant arrived at the decision to convert the building. Currently, the building is essentially vacant, except for one commercial tenant and the chiropractor on the first floor, on the ground floor, and the occupied dwelling unit, which is a 2-bedroom apartment on the top floor of the building. The building was placed into the planned community known as the Knolls of Whitemarsh now. The community consists of 2 commercial buildings. This is one of the commercial buildings. The other building is 505A Germantown Pike, which is now Whitemarsh Family Dentistry. There's also 9 townhomes and 4 single-family dwelling units. When the applicant acquired the building in November of 2019, it was fully leased to a collection of local business owners, including a dentist, a home health care provider, and an insurance agent. Unfortunately, the pandemic helped these tenants realize they didn't need their office space anymore, and when their leases expired, they all chose not to renew. So the applicant has tried for over a year to lease the space with really no success. As a result, applicant believes that apartments are the highest and best use of this property and also believes that new apartments in Whitemarsh Township are in high demand in the market, especially for what we're proposing, which is kind of entry-level, affordable apartments for Whitemarsh. As far as impact to the community, we believe it will be a less intensive use to use the building as apartments than as office and retail, because that served more people and resulted in more traffic trips, and also believe it will provide more affordable residential options for future township residents. There are a mix of commercial and residential units around the building. The 45-unit Westaway Apartments is right next door. There's mixed-use apartments and office buildings across the street and next door as well. We don't believe the plan to convert the apartments will have no change on the facade of the building, other than to make necessary repairs, which are difficult for the applicant to make in its current economic condition. So painting, stucco, new roof, windows, that kind of thing will be part of the new plan. There won't be any change to the building envelope. We estimate that there'll be about 12 residents when the building is fully occupied, which is a lot different than the 20 to 25 employees that were at the building before. The only other couple things I would say is parking. So as part of the Knolls of Whitemarsh plan, the building was required to have 27 parking spaces based on the office use. The current residential requirement is only 1.5 spaces per dwelling unit. So we will be able to provide the 9 spaces we need plus an additional significant number of spaces so there should be plenty of parking. We expect to have a studio, 3 1-bedroom units and 2 2-bedroom units when the building is converted. If you have any questions, I can keep going, but I think that I have made it pretty clear about what we're doing, and I guess I'd call out my witness, Spencer Yavalon, this time.
Sure, just make sure he's sworn in.
Just sworn in.
Would you just raise your right hand? Do you solemnly swear the testimony you will give in this matter will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Spencer Yablon, Y-A-B-L-O-N. Thank you.
Have you heard the testimony that I've given before the board?
Yes.
And do you affirm that that testimony I gave is true and correct?
Yes.
And would you adopt it as your own?
Yes.
And regarding the health and welfare of the community, do you believe the impact on what do you believe the impact will be on the community by converting the building to apartment use?
So having a vacant office building doesn't help the community at all. So I think having more residents in the neighborhood will help to support the other businesses that are trying to survive here. I do own some other apartments in the community up and down. 450 Germantown, it's a 4-unit apartment building with a commercial tenant on the ground floor. Anytime we have a vacancy, it's filled like that. There's tremendous demand for kind of affordable housing in our community, and there's just not a lot of it. So the unit on the top of 507 has been occupied 100% all the time. So I would expect these are going to get full and stay full. It's mostly young professionals that work at places like Lockheed Martin or, like legitimate big companies in the area. And so I think you can only have a positive.
Thank you. I have nothing further. If you have any questions?
Thank you. I don't have any questions. Anybody have any questions?
Of course I do.
Sure.
The parking spaces, you said you had many more than were required for the proposed use, correct?
Correct.
Is there an opportunity to convert any of those existing spaces to green space? And I'm looking particularly at the parking plan. I noticed the island in the middle that might present that type of opportunity, but I'd like to hear from you if you think that's possible.
So it's a good question. So ideally, the answer would be sure. We'd love to do it. We are overparked here, and essentially impervious is maximized, and we'd like to shrink that in a perfect world. But this is part of the planned unit community of the Knolls at Whitemarsh, which has subject to its own land development. And the spaces that are provided here are provided based on the original plan for the whole community. So in order to do that, we would have to go back through the whole process of redoing the planned unit community plan. I just don't think it's feasible. So unfortunately, I think the answer is probably not.
Seems to me it should be easier to do something like this, but I understand the restraints that you're operating under.
So we also only own the front building, right? So we only own
That blue
the
507.
blue 507. So all of the other buildings are also have basically what's considered a shared parking arrangement, which is also part of the code.
Right.
So that's kind of where we land on it.
All right, thank you.
Sure.
Any other board questions? Any questions from the public?
You have
Do
any
I-
other witnesses?
We have no other witnesses.
Okay. See if there's any public comment?
Yep, nothing.
Nothing?
Do I have a motion to close the hearing?
So moved. Second.
All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Meeting is closed. Are we ready to vote on this?
Thank you.
All right, do I have a motion to approve conditional use number 02-23-505A-507, Germantown Pike Associates LLC, 507 Germantown Pike, for a multifamily conversion from office use to 6 apartment dwelling units in the VC1 Village Commercial District?
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Good luck, congratulations.
Thank you.
Good luck.
Do I have a motion to adopt the meeting minutes from July 13th, 2023?
So moved. Second.
All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. We'll go to board discussion items. We'll review SLD number 03-23, MileOne for Washington LLC, BMW, 500-512 Pennsylvania Avenue, preliminary minor subdivision to consolidation of 4 lots in major land development, expanded multi-story dealership. Mr. Mellon.
I'm going to turn it over to Mr. Guttenplan for a brief introduction before he turns it over to the applicant.
Thank you. This is both a subdivision plan and a land development plan. This is a minor subdivision for the consolidation of several parcels on Pennsylvania Avenue, all associated with the BMW dealership. The proposal is to consolidate those into one parcel and take down 2 existing buildings and put a significant addition onto the sales facility to create a multi-level dealership which would house all of the functions of the dealership, including sales, parts, service, inventory, etc. This was in front of the Planning Commission on June 13th, and there were 2 motions passed by the Planning Commission. One, to recommend approval of the various waivers necessary, subject to approval of certain ones by the Shade Tree Commission that related to landscaping. That was subsequently done in July. Those were also recommended for approval. And the second motion was to recommend that the preliminary minor subdivision and major land development also be approved. And without me going into any further detail, I'm going to turn it over to John Iannozzi to introduce it to the board.
Thank you, Charlie. My name is John Iannozzi. I'm on behalf of the applicant. I just want to first say it's been an absolute pleasure working with your township staff. They're A1. It's been a pleasure to work with them. We're very excited about this project. Essentially, like Charlie says, this project consolidates 5 parcels into 1, 5 driveways into 2, which is going to dramatically improve traffic circulation in the area. It's going to consolidate 3 buildings into 1. And what does that do? That allows us, for a business that's been in this community for over 4 years, to stay in this community, to employ more people in this wonderful township. So that is the why we're doing this. Now, you probably want to hear the what this building is going to look like. So I'm going to call John Penny up to kind of walk you through what the building is going to look like. Be happy to answer any questions that you have. I will also say that we are in receipt of the draft resolution. All those terms and conditions stated in that resolution are acceptable to us, and we're prepared to sign if this board is so inclined to grant us preliminary approval for this project. John? And I think Charlie told me 4 times, short, brevity. So John, short, brevity.
Here it is. My name is Jonathan Penny, Penny Design Group, the architect. So Dennis Turnbull was the owner. We started having this conversation about a year ago. They purchased it 2 years ago. There was a pretty bad flood. They lost 120 cars. So the conversation was, how do we design something both for expansion and also to solve this problem? So this rendering here is from the Holiday Inn side of Pennsylvania Avenue. Generally speaking, what we're attempting to design here is a 5-story parking garage. First level will be elevated 1 foot above the floodplain, and it'll be designed as such so floodwater would go underneath it, would not be capturing it. First level would be inventory. We have a drive lane where customer drop-off is for service. The customer would drive up a ramp up to that same level, which is 1 foot above floodplain, and then the drive lane will be connected to the parking garage. Level 2 would be service and parts. Level 3 is car wash and prep. Level 4 and roof would be inventory. So there's essentially 3 levels of inventory above the floodplain. We are doing tearing off the front. Everyone probably knows what this building looks like, but it has an arc design, which is not consistent with BMW's national design program. So we are demoing the only area that's underneath the floodplain, rebuilding it to meet the new BMW standards.
Thanks, John. One other thing I would like to add is this project is going to make for a safer project as it relates to stormwater. By going up, getting these cars off the ground, God forbid if there's another flood, it's not if, it's when, these vehicles will be above ground. So it's also a safer project. So with that, we respectfully request a grant of our preliminary plan tonight. Thank you. Happy to answer any questions you may have.
Thank you. Looks like quite the project, and looks like you've been vetted out a lot. Any board questions or comments?
It looks like a great project.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yes.
Thank you for your compliments for staff and everything. They do deserve it. Except you,
Amen.
Mr. Miller. Any public comment? All right.
Thanks, Krista.
Krista, do you have anything to say?
I have nothing to add.
All right, do I have a motion to adopt resolution number 2023-19, granting conditional preliminary minor subdivision approval for SLD number 03-23, MileOne for Washington LLC, BMW 500-512 Pennsylvania Avenue for consolidation of 4 lots and major land development expanded multi-story dealership.
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Miller.
Ms. Toll?
Yes.
Ms. Nestor?
Yes.
Mr. Manuel?
Yes.
Chair McCusker?
Yes. Congratulations. Thank you.
Good luck.
Good luck.
Good luck.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Do I have a motion to adopt ordinance number 1030 to revise the time for submitting a display fireworks permit from 30 days to 40 days prior to the proposed event date and requiring a decision on the permit application at least 30 days prior to the proposed event date and adding authorization to charge a standby fee for events using display fireworks for the Township Emergency Services.
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Miller.
Thank you, Chair McCusker. This was discussed at our meeting last month. This has been something that has been recommended by the Emergency Services Board after several discussions of vetting the firework ordinance in Whitemarsh Township. What this essentially does is it recognizes the difficulty to have firefighters come out for when there is fire displays that occur in the township. According to our code, we have to have a standby unit go to any fire display. And generally, as we know, fire displays occur on holidays, a time when you're taking volunteers away from their families. As a result, there was a couple of recommendations that were made. They'll be handled by this ordinance amendment as well as the fee schedule. The first, as was mentioned, was that firework permits be submitted 45 days in advance and approved 30 days in advance by the fire marshal's office. The reason for that is it gives the volunteer fire company enough time to find the volunteers that would then come and be on standby. The other piece of this we'll get into in terms of the fees, but the other part of the ordinance amendment was recognizing those difficult holidays, which makes it hard to get the volunteers out to be on standby for a firework display. Those holidays would be July 3rd and 4th, December 31st, January 1st, Memorial Day, Labor Day, Thanksgiving, and Christmas. On those 8 holidays, the standby fee would be $2,500, up from what is currently $300. And we'll discuss that in the next resolution. The purpose of that money would go to those volunteers for their time, effort in being at that display, again, being away from their families. So this was, again, discussed by the Emergency Services Board, recommended by the Emergency Services Board, and the ordinance would adjust the time in which a permit is submitted, as well as the 8 holidays in which the standby fee would be elevated for those dates.
All right, makes sense. Any board questions?
No.
Any public questions, comments? All right, hearing none, do I have a motion to adopt resolution number 2023-20, amending the fee resolution to include new fees for firework displays?
Chair McCusker, can we have a roll call vote on the ordinance amendment first?
Oh, I'm sorry. Please call the roll.
Ms. Toll?
Yes.
Ms. Nestor?
Yes.
Mr. Manuel?
Yes.
Chair McCusker?
Yes. Motion carries. Now, do I have a motion to adopt resolution number 2023-20, amending the fee resolution to include new fees for firework displays?
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Mr. Miller.
Thank you, Chair McCusker. I know you were excited for this one, too. So this is increasing the fees for standby, which is currently $300 to $500. We did a review of surrounding municipalities, and this increase is in line with those other municipalities. Again, the standby fee is elevated to $2,500. I explained that is because those holidays, it's difficult pulling volunteers away from their families. We actually spoke with some of, it's really the country clubs that are having these displays. They're fine with it. They just pass it on to the user if they want to have those displays. This is part of their fee. And again, the compensation would go towards the volunteer firefighters that show up as standby for any firework display on those 8 holidays.
All right. Any board comment or questions? Any public comment? Mr. Miller, please call the roll.
Ms. Toll?
Yes.
Ms. Nestor?
Yes.
Mr. Manuel?
Yes.
Chair McCusker?
Yes. Do I have a motion to authorize the sale of township vehicles and equipment by public auction?
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Miller.
Thank you, Chair McCusker. We have various vehicles and equipment that we cycle out on an annual basis. We are not adding to our fleet in a lot of cases. It is replacing some of our oldest vehicles, whether it be from our Public Works Department, could be from our Police Department, could be from our Parks and Rec Department or Administration. We also have a lot of other equipment that is no longer useful, but it's useful to other people. And by way of an auction, we're able to put these vehicles and equipment on what is called gov deals, and they go up for a public auction, and we receive the benefits, the financial benefits from those sales. So we want to make sure that we have this. It's also something good for our audit, that they see that the board is taking action, permitting the township to put these vehicles and equipment up on a live auction and for them to be sold.
Thank you. Any board comment? Public comment? All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Do I have a motion to accept the resignation of James Mahoney from the Open Space Commission and thank him for his volunteer service?
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Miller, do you have any comments?
No, I think Mr. Mahoney would have loved to continue to serve, but just because of personal issues and commitments, it made it very difficult. But we do certainly appreciate his time and effort and volunteerism on the Open Space Commission.
Yep. I know he wants to spend more time with his grandchildren, so he's going to do the important things. So, any other comments? All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Do I have a motion to authorize the escrow release number 6 for River Place, 901 Washington Street, in the amount of $96,089.24?
So moved.
Second.
Krista.
This is escrow release number 6. Happy to report that most of this is for the extension of Washington Street along the frontage of 901 Washington Street. Their request is in the amount of $96,089.24. And our office has inspected the site and found the improvements to have been constructed in accordance with the plans. So we're recommending this escrow release.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any board comment?
Just quick on status. Are they out of the ground yet?
They're out of the ground. They're starting to do physical improvements that you can see. So with the road extension in, it's looking a lot different.
Great.
That's a big one.
Yes, it's nice to see.
Good to hear. Any public comment? All right, all in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Do I have a motion to approve expenditures totaling $1,334,413.48 and payroll totaling $706,657.95 and pension paid cost totaling $3,769.56 for July 2023?
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Do I have a motion to approve the certificate of appropriateness for the installation of a fence at 111 Black Walnut Lane?
So moved.
Second.
All right, Charlie. This is
you.
that fence I was talking about earlier.
Okay.
Oh, not offense. Offense.
This is an item that was reviewed by Harb yesterday morning at their meeting on August 9th. As I noted in my memo to the board, this was not an official meeting. We did not have a quorum, but the members there reviewed this. This is 111 Black Walnut Lane. As you know from prior discussions, this is not a historic house, but this subdivision is in the historic district, and a portion of the fence that's being installed is visible from Black Walnut Lane, which is why it was in front of Harb. This is the fence, and this section parallel to the road, and this section parallel to the road are the reason that Harb looked at it. A little bit better description from the fence company, but it really is a very minor intrusion and very minor change. But again, given where it's located and that it's visible, it is eligible for Harb review. There were no issues with the members that were there, and those members recommended that a certificate of appropriateness be issued.
Thanks, Charlie.
You're welcome.
Any board comment? Any public comment? All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. All right, it takes us to public comment period. Any public comment? Any board comment? All right, I would like to announce that we had executive session tonight discussing personnel. Do I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Meeting adjourned. Good night.
Good night, Whitemarsh.